few years ago, Facebook, now Meta, tried to launch its own global cryptocurrency. Regulators shut it down before it ever took off. But the brilliant engineers who built that technology didn't just walk away. They took what they'd learned, started fresh, and created a brand new blockchain designed to be one of the fastest in the world. That blockchain is SUI. Today, no hype and no price predictions, just a clear breakdown of what SUI is, the genuinely clever way it works, what it's used for in 2026, and the honest risks. Let's get into it. So, what is SUI? SUI is a layer 1 blockchain, meaning a base layer network like Ethereum or Solana, built for one main goal: speed, without the congestion that slows older networks down. Here's the problem it set out to solve. Most blockchains process transactions one at a time, in a single line. Everything competes for the same shared lane, so when the network gets busy, everyone waits and fees climb. SUI's big idea is to completely break that bottleneck. Compared to the names you know, Bitcoin is digital gold, focused on storing value slowly but securely. Ethereum is the original world computer for apps, but it can get slow and pricey. SUI set out to be a blazing fast platform for apps, payments, and games that feel as smooth as a normal website. And the way it achieves that is genuinely different from almost anything else in crypto. First, the backstory, because it explains a lot. SUI was built by Miston Labs, founded by former Meta engineers who had worked on Diem, Meta's ambitious crypto project. When regulators forced Diem to shut down, that team spun out and rebuilt the technology as an open public network, launching SUI in May 2023. Crucially, they kept the best piece of Diem, a programming language called Move, which we'll come back to because it's a real strength. One thing worth knowing is that another major blockchain, Aptos, came from that same Diem team, so SUI and Aptos are like technological cousins, and they compete closely to this day. So how does SUI actually work? Here's the core idea, in plain terms. On most blockchains, think of the whole network like a single bank teller serving one customer at a time, in strict order. SUI works differently. It treats every asset, every coin, NFT, or item as its own separate labeled object with a clear owner. Because everyone's stuff is kept in its own box, many transactions that have nothing to do with each other can be processed at the exact same time. If you're sending tokens to a friend while someone else is trading on an app, those two actions don't touch the same object, so they happen simultaneously instead of waiting in line. This is called parallel execution, and it's why SUI can settle a simple transfer in under half a second. Only when two people need the same shared object do they have to take turns. On top of that, SUI upgraded to a fast modern consensus system that locks in transactions in roughly 400 milliseconds, faster than the blink of an eye. Now about that Move language, because it matters more than it sounds. Move was designed specifically to handle digital assets safely. In plain terms, it has built-in guardrails that make entire categories of common crypto hacks, like accidentally duplicating or losing tokens, structurally impossible. Many experts consider it one of the most secure smart contract languages ever made. For a beginner, the takeaway is simple. SUI was engineered from the ground up with both speed and safety in mind, rather than bolting them on later. That design shapes the ecosystem. Because SUI handles assets as objects, it's especially good for things that involve lots of items moving around, like gaming, where you might transfer, combine, or burn in-game items constantly, and NFTs and other digital collectibles. It also hosts a growing decentralized finance scene, with apps for trading and lending, and a shared liquidity system built by the core team. Importantly, SUI has native USDC, the major dollar-backed stablecoin, issued directly by its provider rather than through a risky bridge, which makes it more reliable for payments and trading. The team is also building out what it calls a full development stack, including privacy features for private transactions and a stablecoin aimed at fee-free payments. In short, SUI is positioning itself as a fast, consumer-friendly home for apps that need to feel instant. Now the SUI token, it has three main jobs. First, it's the fuel paying the network's transaction fees. Second, it secures the network through staking. Holders can stake their SUI or delegate it to validators who confirm transactions and earn rewards. And third, it gives holders a vote in governance decisions. On supply, SUI has a capped maximum of 10 billion tokens. But here's a detail every beginner should understand. A large portion of those tokens was allocated at launch to early investors, the team, and reserves, and they're released gradually over several years on a vesting schedule. That matters because when big batches of new tokens unlock and enter circulation, it can add selling pressure. It's not unique to SUI, but it's something to be aware of. So what does SUI do well? First, raw speed. Its parallel execution and fast finality make it one of the quickest blockchains out there, with low fees even when busy. Second, security. The Move language genuinely reduces the risk of certain costly bugs and hacks. Third, it's well suited to consumer apps, especially gaming and NFTs, thanks to that object model. Fourth, it has a serious pedigree, built by an experienced team from one of the world's biggest tech companies. And fifth, it's attracting institutional attention with native stablecoin support and several firms filing to offer SUI investment products. But here's the honest other side. First, token unlocks. As we mentioned, large scheduled releases of tokens can weigh on the price and mean a lot of supply is concentrated among early insiders. Second, it's a young network, launched in 2023, with a smaller validator set and shorter track record than veterans like Ethereum. Third, competition is intense. SUI goes head-to-head with Solana, the dominant high-speed chain, with its near-twin Aptos and with Ethereum's whole ecosystem. There's no guarantee it wins that race. And fourth, while Move is powerful, it's newer and less widely known than Ethereum's main language, so SUI's developer pool, though growing, is still smaller. None of this makes SUI a bad project. It makes it a promising, but still unproven one, fighting for its place. So where does SUI stand in 2026? It's established itself as one of the leading high-performance blockchains, with a growing decentralized finance ecosystem, native stablecoin support, and momentum in gaming and consumer apps. It's been outpacing its cousin Aptos in several areas, and it's drawn institutional interest through investment product filings. On market position, I'll note neutrally that SUI is a mid to large cryptocurrency by value and trades below its earlier highs, and I won't predict where it goes next. Be skeptical of anyone who claims they can. Its future depends on a clear question. Can it turn its genuinely strong technology into lasting adoption in one of the most crowded corners of crypto? So who is SUI for? This is about fit, not a recommendation to buy. For investors, it tends to appeal to those who believe in fast, consumer-focused blockchains and are comfortable with higher risk and token unlock dynamics. For developers, it's attractive for the speed and the safety of the Move language, especially if building games or asset-heavy apps. For gaming and consumer app builders, the object model is a natural fit. For businesses, native stablecoin support makes it interesting for payments, and for everyday users, the appeal is simple. It's fast and cheap to actually use. The common thread, people drawn to a technically ambitious, speed-first chain aimed at mainstream-feeling apps. Let's bring it together. SUI is a high-speed Layer 1 blockchain built by the team behind Meta's failed crypto project that treats every asset as an independent object to run transactions in parallel, secured by the safety-focused Move language and a sub-second consensus system. Its strengths are real: speed, security, and a consumer app focus, backed by a serious team. So are its challenges: token unlocks, a short track record, and fierce competition from Solana and Aptos. The balanced bottom line: SUI is one of the more technically impressive new blockchains, and it's still proving it can win lasting adoption. Understanding it isn't the same as deciding it's right for you, so do your own research, never invest more than you can afford to lose, and remember, nothing here is financial advice. If this finally made SUI click for you, do me a quick favor, tap that like button right now. It genuinely helps more curious people find these breakdowns. Then subscribe and turn on the bell, because every week I take another coin or crypto topic and break it down exactly like this. Clear, honest, and never hyped. And drop a comment telling me which project I should cover next. I read every single one, and the most requested ones become the next videos. If this helped you, share it with someone trying to make sense of crypto. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.